My family had this ritual for all females in the family who, and this is the coming out story. So where we would have Women's Day, and Women's Day was when a girl would have her menstrual cycle, and then the girls would all gather around. And back then we had bath beads, now we have bath bombs and all this greater stuff. But the women would get around and they would get together and they would bring you in the room and talk to you and explain to you what's going on with your body, and they would show you the tampons and all the ways to clean yourself and explain to you what's going on with your body. I would have never had to have that experience. But coming out as trans, my family actually gave me a Women's Day, which was like my birthright passage in my family. So it was great. That's family. Society had different views on what being a transgender woman was. I had a lot of abuse from relationships. I've had the bullying in school. I believe everyone has a story, some more violent than others. But as it pertains then, I felt as though that I wanted to leave my area where I grew up at, and I moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, and I lived there for like almost 4 or 5 years with my husband, and I lived in stealth. And when I came back, because of my experience, and I saw other young women going through the things that I experienced, I became an advocate. So back then versus now, I speak out against those injustices that happen to us on a daily basis, and I'm more stronger, and I know who I am today.
I see trans people as living such like a wide variety of experiences and have so many different places they come from and dreams and aspirations, and also, you know, share a bond in a certain way of like disrupting a thing that is like seen as the most just essential to a lot of people. And so I think that that's what creates such a disturbance to society, is that gender is just an assumed thing that everybody is really, not everybody, but like most cis people, most people in the world is really comfortable with keeping it just man, woman, whatever you're born in, that's what it is. So I think that trans people, by disrupting that, like, we're really disrupting one of the things that people hold on to as like a way to keep themselves like in check and stable. So I think that's why people get uncomfortable with trans people and why people are like freaked out by us, is because we're taking this thing that is just supposed to be not questioned at all, and we're like questioning it and changing it for ourselves and creating our own experience around it.
When people talk about coming out, a lot of times they say, I came out on this day, on the June 14th, and I've been coming out like 17 times at this point. Like to my mom, to my dad in Cuba, to like my friends, and then like coming out as like bisexual originally, and then coming out as like gay, and then coming out as like, wait, I'm trans, wait, I'm actually not binary, and actually, you know what, I like women too. So it's been confusing for my family, which whatever, but it's because I was forced at an early age to believe that the only way in which the only other thing that was not like cis heteronormative was being a gay man, and that world was very like failed me very fast. I've had to work really hard to like speak from the first moment I'm at my workplace and be like, hey, my paperwork says this, but my name is Librada. And same thing at my house, which limits where I can work, which limits where I can live, but I have to navigate all those places every day.
Things that people take for granted, that they are simple things, as a trans person can be very difficult. Going to take the train to go to work may sound like the simplest thing that a New Yorker can do. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to step outside my house because I don't know how the person across the street is gonna perceive me. And I don't know if after they perceive me a certain kind of way, they're not gonna take an action over that perception. I don't know if when I jump into the L train, somebody's gonna look at me and notice that I'm trans And I don't know if that person, when they notice that they're trans, if they notice that I'm trans, is gonna say something hurtful. And I don't know if that person is gonna get very enraged at the fact that I'm trans and is gonna decide to punch me.
Having a community of people who understand and celebrate me and who allow me to be myself without feeling super rigid, like systems of having to prove that I'm masculine enough or something like that. And I don't really have biological family, and so it's really important that I have connections with people that feel like family. And that's, I think, one of the things that's so wonderful about being a trans person, because I don't actually, I feel like who I am is a transsexual man. I don't want to be a cisgender man, because the benefits of being a transgender person are so huge in terms of the connections that you get to have with people and the experiences that you get to have, and the real pursuit of joy that I think is something that people in our community really value, because the hard moments can feel so many. So it's like you wanna feel that joy too.